I'm going to run through what's new in the latest PMA release. So these will be following on from the previous webinars of what we've been working on. So there's a rebranding. Obviously, we've been rebranding to Pentagon from the previous Excitech branding. So that's throughout the user interface of the client. So I'll show you how that looks shortly as well. Near real-time filing has been added. I've got a couple of slides just to go over that to show you what that means in comparison to how this application currently works. We've also added Autodesk Construction Cloud as an additional filing location, so you can now connect to your ACC projects and BIM 360 projects to file your emails. There's a fix for the high resolution monitors, so the text scaling issues which some of you may have experienced. We've also improved the user experience around SharePoint. There were some error loops which we've managed to resolve there. The PMA license portal has also had enhancements which we'll run through. And all of this will be available today. So after this webinar, this afternoon, the latest release will be available. So the rebranding, you should no longer see ExcitechMail. It's all PentagonMail branded user interface. This is a phased rebranding. You will still see in some of the background processes maybe or directories that you will still see Excitech, but those will all be removed and replaced with Pentagon over time. The near real-time filing update. This is a big update. This addresses a lot of issues that we mentioned by you, our customers. So the delayed message being visible to all users. One user files it, other people don't see it until their indexer is run, and we'll go through those locations. New users, when they come on board, they've got to index everything, wait for everything to appear. If you're using multiple devices, you've got a laptop and a desktop, they might be in different states of indexing, so you see different results. If you have metered filing locations, so they're being hit a lot with lots of indexing, your metering of the resources there can be impacted, and likewise any under-resource filing locations which just can't handle the amount of indexing which may go along. The near real-time filing basically addresses all of these issues. So in a real-world use, you're going to see enhanced productivity because you're going to see emails much faster, which will improve your collaboration, enable faster decision making. It's going to optimize your user experience with PMA, and crucially, it's also going to reduce system strains on your network. It's going to lessen the load considerably. So just a quick recap of what the filing indexing is within PMA. So currently, user one will file an email. That will be pushed into the filed email location. And at this point, they can see it because they filed it, so it updates their local index and search cache. Users 2 and 3, they've got no idea this email exists. Eventually, their indexing will run and it will go through the filed locations and it will now see that new email. So user 2 can see it. They have their indexer settings slightly faster than user 3 or etc. So user 3 won't see it until their indexing goes through. So this process could take a number of hours, especially if you've got lots of file locations, etc. The new method basically is an addition to the existing indexing, which can still carry on working in the background. But the way this will work is your user will still file the email and that'll go off to the filed location. But then for all other users that are connected to that filing location, they will automatically be sent that email. So it'll appear in their search cache straight away. It's not instant, but it is very quick. So this will just make the system much quicker and easier to use. There'll be no, I have filed that email. You tell someone, they say, well, I can't see it yet. It will be much quicker and will enhance your experience with PMA, within the office. There is one proviso with this at the moment. It doesn't currently work with the VPNs because of the technology behind that, but that will be coming in the future update, just to make you aware of that. ACC filing locations, we can now add a location in the Autodesk Construction Cloud. So whether that's a straight ACC project or legacy BIM 360 projects, they can now be added and will appear as a filing location as per your local folders or MFiles locations if you use MFiles as well. Previously, we have had some issues where people have different resolution screens, moving Outlook from one screen to the other, etc. Odd things were happening with the text size and etc. Might become very small, might be too big, not fit in the window. That's all been improved now, so it will stay the same between screens. There will be further enhancements coming in this area in the future, but that's now been resolved and will at least be consistent. For those who use SharePoint as the filing location, Not sure how many of those there are, but you will be aware that SharePoint doesn't like being indexed a lot. So we did introduce some indexer settings, which are more relaxed, so reduces the load. We did run into some issues as well. If a particular document library or location was no longer available, that could get you into a multi-factor authentication loop with SharePoint. So these issues have all been resolved now, and it works much better with SharePoint. The license portal, which we'll have a quick look at as well, that's all been updated with the rebranding. We've also added some additional functionality, so you can now delete users that you have set up. So if you have people who've left your company, and now go through and clean that up, so it looks as it should do for your current usage. And we've also added the ability to add multiple admins. You can administer your PMA contract through the license portal. Previously, it was a single user. Now we can add additional users. For that, you will need to request us through support to set up those additional users. And likewise, if one of those leaves, please let us know and we can remove that from the back end. But it will enable your coverage if someone's not in the office, etc. Okay, so we'll just have a quick look at PMA as it is now. So you can see we're using the Pentagon colours, so you'll see orange rather than the previous blue of Exciter. This is all being rebranded now, all in the search windows. You know, all the accenting is going to be around orange, but predominantly, you know, the usability and familiarity you already have with the system is going to remain. So, you know, there's no major differences in how you use it. But, you know, talking about the updates that we do have, you know, mentioned the ACC locations. So these can now be set up and you can add the locations. So in this particular project, you know, I only have a single location for emails, but you may have multiple locations you want to set up, and those can all be selected the similar way that you pick, you know, folders that you want to add in a network folder, for instance. And these will then become available. So if I was to just quickly update that. These will become available for filing locations and also in the search, and it will index those for you. I did mention the indexing that we can carry out and the configuration around it. This may be something you haven't looked at in quite a while, but in the new version, it's worth looking at to see which settings may work with you. You do have to stop the indexing before you look at the settings. Then under settings, you will see there are, you know, more relaxed timings for the indexing. So if you are on a much older version, you know, this is quite aggressive and we'll be literally doing it every few seconds. Our default now, and especially with the real-time filing, would be to set to medium, which only fires off an indexing session every 7.5 minutes. But you can also set this to custom and set it to a value which you would also may want to use. And then once you've changed that, just remember to click start indexing and it will go off. You know, you can see our ACC location has appeared down here as well. The near real-time filing, that will appear under the settings. So there's now an advanced tab and you can turn this on. And this will work over your local area network. As I mentioned, the VPN update will be coming in the future. And for all people who are connected to those particular filing locations, you know, they're going to get broadcast any new items back to themselves as that's set up. There are in the help, which you'll have within the new version, you know, all the information you require to set up those particular things. So the ACC filing locations, you know, that's all covered in the help. What you need to set up, there's a client ID and secret key, which ACC provides, which we need to configure the link and how you set up the groups, etc. And there's also more information on the real-time filing, how that works, and also some of the limitations. So here it does mention the VPN, which we will be bringing in a future release. The portal. So as you log in as a user to manage your accounts, you'll log in and you will see your company, which you can view. So we can open that up, see all the users that you have. We will just add a quick one in, so we can delete it. But it may be that you have users, they've no longer got a license, they've left the company. You can now select a user and there's a delete users option. You can do this in batch as well, and you can remove them, and it just keeps your list of users nice and tidy. And as I mentioned, you can also have multiple admins now. So the simplest way really would be to send us a support email through the link, put it down as an admin request, fill out who you would like to have added as an admin. We will check when these come through that whether the person requesting the additional user is already an admin, so we would authorize it. If we don't recognize the user, we would likely go back to our primary PMA contact just to verify that you do want this user being added as an admin, just in case someone decides to request it for themselves. And really, that's the updates. Oh, sorry, there is one just final thing to mention. In the help, you will see in this section, at the minute it's got the 4.159 version as the latest that you can download. The new version, which is 5.0227, that will be available from 12 o'clock. And you just be able to download it from here and update your installation locally.